From Bookkeeper, and in this video I want to show you how you can install, configure and use the Portfolio bot. So it's going to be a bit longer video. Let me reduce my screen, where I walk you through the following steps. First, the installation, a configuration, and then we start operating some purchases and sales of stock. During this process, I will walk you through the help guide as well, so you can see where I get the data from. And what I'm going to do today is a simple portfolio, just simple portfolio, no exchange and one currency only. Okay, so this setup, one finance book, one portfolio book where I keep the quantities of my equity, and the portfolio bot installed on both books to do the synchronization between value and quantities. So let's go to the installation. You have to create a financial book and a portfolio book. Let's start with that. Okay. So I'll call this book Portfolio Financial Book. Let's call it like this. Okay. This is one book. The other book, I will call it Portfolio Book. In a moment you will see why I repeat those names. And then the next step is add all the books to a Bookkeeper collection. Let's create a new collection. I call this Portfolio. Create. Now I add the two books to this collection, and I named it double because now you can see here financial book and portfolio book, even if the name is portfolio, because it drops the name of the collection. Next step, install the portfolio bot on your book, on all the books in your collection. So I have to install it on this book. Go to the automations, look for the portfolio bot, press install. There it is. It's already installed here. Same on the portfolio book. There it is. Okay, as a part of the installation, you have to create some accounts, some groups. Yeah, that's it. So let's take a look at the accounts. There's a few asset accounts that you have to create, broker fees, and an account on the portfolio book. Let's do that. So let's go to accounts. Let's do this on the financial book. It's an asset type account. It's like your bank account. Broker. An equity account, in this case Alphabet. We just use the ticker. And it said broker fees account, right? Maybe fees account, and this is an outgoing type account. Did I have to create something else? No. We can now go to the portfolio book, where we also create the equity account. On the portfolio book, it's only going to contain the quantities, not values. Okay. So we've done this. And now we have to create groups on our financial book and on our instruments book. So let's do this. I will just use a portfolio for US. If you have more currencies, you can use a Europe, a yen, whatever. So I have to create this group, portfolio US, new group, portfolio US. And now what I have to do is I have to add our equity to this group. Apply. Do the same here. Equity to this group. Okay. So we have done this part of the installation. You don't need to do anything more. For the portfolio bot to work, it needs a configuration. So it needs to know when an event like post-transaction or check transaction happens in a book, and it listens to these events, when it has to get to action. And this happens when it finds the right properties on the book, on the groups, and on the transactions. So let's take a look what these properties are. So here it says on the financial book I have to set an exchange code. So let's do that. You can find the book properties here. Exchange code, and it's USD in this case. Okay. It needs this one because if you use more currencies, it needs to find a way back and forth between quantities and values. Okay. On the portfolio book, we have to set another property, which is a stock book true, and in this case I will use the fair price, okay, not the historical price. So let's go there, book properties, stock book. It's true. I'm going to keep my amounts here, not values, and I use the stock fair price true. Save. Okay, so I've set this one and this one. You can also set the historical price in, but in most to true, but in most cases we don't use this. This is very specific cases. Now we have so that from the so the portfolio bot knows when a transaction corresponds to it and it has to do something with it. Depends on this property, which we have to set on both the financial book and the instrument book on the group. So we edit the group, add the stock. Right. Should go. This is also USD. So if you have a European group, portfolio Euro, you will set here euros, and it will correspond with the European book. This one. Okay. So where instruments book we've done and the financial book. In the case of the portfolio bot, we need one account property, which is the fees that are charged by the broker. So we have to do this on the financial book. Let me see. So this is the broker, and let's edit it and set the stock fees account. And here you have to use this account, broker fees. Whatever you named that fees account, you have to put it here. Okay. So with that, I believe we get to our transaction properties and we can start to operate. So let's go to our overview. What we've done now is the installation and the configuration. Now let's purchase some equity. And the first two I will do manually so you can get the feeling of it, how this works and the logic behind it. Open here, open here. I'm in my financial book, so here you also have to remember, you always start, you always work from your financial book, okay? So anything you record or revert, you do it on your financial book, not on the portfolio book. The portfolio book is entirely managed by the portfolio bot. So let's see. We go, one thing more I'd like to do is, no, sorry, these are the settings, get to month, day, year. Month, day, year. There you go. Financial book. Let's start recording. So, on January 15th, I sent JP Morgan to JP Broker a purchase order of the amount of this. And here go the properties. There are there are three properties that are necessary for this to work. Fees is optional. So, but let's put the fees, that's 6. The instrument is alphabet, Gook, the ticker. The quantity is 10, we buy 10 shares. And the trade date, is, I'll keep that the same date. There you go. Let's record this. And what will happen is, it's a flow where the money goes to the broker. The broker purchases the shares and reflects that in another transaction, and the expenses are withdrawn from the total value. Okay, so let's record this and see how the portfolio bot gets into action and records the expense, which goes from the broker account to an expense account, and the actual value, which is a little bit lower than the money we sent to our broker. And this is the actual value and the cost price of our Google shares. Okay? Now, we go to our portfolio book, and where are my 10 shares here? Okay, so to actually confirm that you have your shares, you check the portfolio bot gets into action, and it records the amount of 10 shares on the portfolio book with the references of this purchase. Okay, now let's do a similar one here for Microsoft, same date. So I'll do this one by hand as well. 15. Send the money to our broker. It's a purchase. The total amount is this. The fees are 6 in this case, a fixed amount apparently. MSFT, Microsoft. The quantity is also 10. And my trade date is also necessary, is 01/15/2025. Okay. Now notice I didn't create the Microsoft account. And when I press post, you will see that the portfolio bot creates the account for me, but it has created it outside of the portfolio group. So for the amounts to be synchronized, I have to put this account into my portfolio. And what you will see now is that the portfolio here has been updated with Microsoft as well. So the portfolio bot keeps these two in sync as well. Okay. Now, I have to confirm that I really received the 10 shares. And there you go. We have now 10 shares of Alphabet and 10 shares of Microsoft. How cool is that? Next operation. We need money. We need to sell our shares. Let's put it like that. This one I will record from here. Let me clean this for a moment. Reset. Okay. Hey. Sorry. Let's do it like this then. Reset. So this one I've already recorded, and now in February we're going to sell a few transactions. Let me see if I have to refresh my screen. It's called Portfolio Financial Book. Okay. Let me record these two. Go to our financial book. There is the purchase the sale from 5 Google and 5 Microsoft. Okay. And here you see something similar. The money comes back from the broker to our account. And from there on, with the properties, the portfolio bot knows that it should reduce the value of the Google equity and Microsoft equity in my portfolio. Okay. So, similar as before, the quantities aren't yet synchronized. And to do that, we have to check these two transactions. And we see now the sales of the Alphabet shares and the Microsoft shares, and we have 5 Google and 5 Microsoft shares in our portfolio. Okay, so back to our overview. We have now done a partial sale. What we're going to do now is calculate the results of these sales. It's pretty obvious that's a loss because the prices have gone down in this period, but how much? So to calculate results, it's good practice to go to your portfolio book, open the portfolio bot, and what you will see is that the portfolio bot itself detected that there has been operations that would be valid to calculate the results itself. Okay, so Google and Microsoft. And since these operations have been in February, we're going to calculate results for the end of the month of February. So let's set the date to February 28th and calculate results. I'm not marking market-to-market valuations now. We'll do that in the next step so you can see the difference between the two. So it calculates, it starts working, and what you will see, it will write extra information into the properties, which will indicate it, the packages that it has used and which it hasn't used, which are still open, which ones are closed. Okay, So you can see that happening, right? You can follow everything in your activities. And on our financial book, you will see 2 entries. And you notice that it has been losses which have been booked against a liability account, which corrects the value of your balance sheet. And actually, if you would sell everything, you could book those two to zero, the balance sheet on this subject. Okay. So, realized loss. You can, if I set this to a year, you can see we have made a little loss. Okay, on both our shares. So now we're going to do another sale in March. And let's imagine that I record something wrong, and instead of 3, I record 2 Microsoft shares being sold. So we have the transactions here. We record this as well. Yeah, maybe it's good to say that if you freeze the first row, you have the system properties, and you can use your own properties. So these represent properties when you record transaction from your Google Sheet with the first row frozen. Okay. So there we go. Record these 2. There are the actions. I have to mark these 2. You can see the 2 and the 3. And now we have on our book 2 Google and 3 Microsoft. And the Microsoft apparently should have been 3 and 2 here. Okay. Let's continue with our steps. We're going to calculate results before we noticed that there's something wrong. Okay. So we go back to our portfolio. It detects that there are 2 assets that need to be calculated. There have been operations, so we set it to 31st of March. Calculate. And the process is equally as before. Okay, I will close this here. And you see, again, a loss. But now we discovered that we made an error. So what we will have to do is we have to reset our calculations, because if you change something, the results will change, right? So I go back to my book of quantities. I open the portfolio bot interface. You will see it doesn't detect any account that should be calculated. Okay, so what I have to do is I have to say, oh, I made a mistake with my Microsoft account. Then open the portfolio bot, and now you will see that it offers a reset button. And when you do a reset, neither the MTM calculation nor the date matters. The reset will go to the very first operation and undo all its calculations. Okay, realize results, and in case you use exchange as well. So let's do a reset here, and it will go all the way back to our first operations in January for Microsoft. So you see it starts rewriting. I close it here, and so you see it took away the properties. And if we go to our financial book, let me delete this. You see the realized result calculations transactions have been removed for Microsoft. Okay. Now I can correct the error, right, which I made on my sale here on this book. So I edit the transaction, that's this one. I have to make this 3, and the amount for 3 correct is this. Correct this amount as well. And there you go. I record this one, and you will see it will update the Microsoft transaction as well. And what I have to do now is to reflect this on the quantities book. I have to check that transaction. And now actually we have 2 Microsoft shares left on our portfolio book. Okay, correction made. Now we have to do the calculation of realized results again. In this case, I will do it on the 31st of March with market to market for the Microsoft. So I mark Microsoft, open portfolio. I will set the market to market so we can see the difference. And I set 31st of March. Calculate, please. So now it's going to redo the calculations. And we'll see another transaction. Close. So now it's adding the information about the batches to these transactions. And on our book here, what we will see is the stock loss again. You will not have the other one from the first operation, stock loss, well, it's here. And you have one here, but you also have a correction of your Microsoft value in your book on your balance sheet. Okay, so it books that to the unrealized liability account. So you will see that gains and losses over time will zero out between these 2 accounts. Okay, now one more thing to learn is when I did this reset, it went all the way back to our first operations. It removed all the transactions, right? Realized results. Now, imagine that you have closed the period and you have reported it. You don't want to go all the way back to your first transactions because you already have reported this. You cannot just undo that. So for that, we have set a forward date where the portfolio bot calculates the prices, the batches that are still open, and from there on, resets that are happening in the future will only go till that forward date. Okay, so that's a mechanism to protect your your periods that already have been reported. So let's go and do that. Let me see, I said on the 1st of March. So go to our portfolio book, open the portfolio interface, and set the date to the 1st of March, and set a forward date. You see that if there are still results to be calculated, it's good practice to do that on that date, so you don't have any openings in that kind of way in the past. So let's set the forward date. Excuse me, I have to select all the equity. let's go to the 1st of March. There you go. Set forward date. Forward date. Now it will close the batches that have been sold, and it will keep a reference of the batches that are still open with their referring prices in history. Okay. Now what you see here is I got 2 errors, one for each equity, and it says that you cannot set a forward date before the last realized results, because the realized results, they use data all the way back to the first operations, because it's a first in, first out calculation. So if you're in this case and you really want to set it on the 1st of March, then you have to do reset and calculate till the 28th of February, and then do your forward date on the 1st of March. Okay? So in my case, that's not so relevant. I can set it to the end of March. I set the forward date. And when I do this, from here on, if I have to do a future reset, it will only go to the 31st of March. Okay? Not till the beginning of the year. There's a full reset in case you need it, but normally that's not the case. And a full reset will ignore all the forward dates. Not recommended. Also, if you're running a forward date, it's good to calculate on the day before all the realized results, so you don't have any. No, it's not. You don't have any gaps. It's more for you to have a report on that date of your realized results. Close. So with this, I've covered everything that I wanted to show you in this video. All these steps are described in the help guide as well, but I believe that a help video can be a tutorial video can clarify you the steps a bit better. So that's why I thought it was a good idea to make this video for you. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. It's a lot of information. You can also write in our support channels or in the group community. And if you like this kind of videos, give a thumbs up in the like. And like this, we can give you more tutorials of stuff that you need. Okay? Thank you for your attention, and happy bookkeeping.